An American tourist collapsed in a New Zealand pharmacy. What happened next could save your life or bankrupt you. If you're visiting New Zealand soon, don't skip this. It could be the difference between a $200 bill and a $20,000 nightmare. Before you scroll, if you love real stories that reveal the truth behind global travel, hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because today's story might change how you see New Zealand forever. Margaret Mitchell was living her best life. 34 years old, graphic designer from Portland, finally taking that South Island road trip she'd pinned on her vision board for 3 years. Milford Sound, Lake Tekapo, the Glowworm Caves. Everything was perfect until it wasn't. Day 6, Queenstown, a seemingly innocent lunch at a lakeside cafe. 20 minutes later, her throat started closing. She couldn't breathe. Her friend rushed her to the nearest pharmacy, then straight to Queenstown's Lakes District Hospital. The staff was incredible, fast, professional kind. They stabilized her with epinephrine, ran tests, kept her for observation. Margaret felt safe, relieved, grateful. Then, boom, the bill arrived. $3,200. No insurance accepted. Cash or card. Due immediately. Here's what she didn't know, and what most Americans get dangerously wrong about New Zealand healthcare. You've probably heard New Zealand has universal healthcare, right? Free doctors. No medical bankruptcies. A paradise where the government actually takes care of you. And that's true if you're a Kiwi. But if you're a tourist, the rules change in ways that make zero sense. New Zealand has this thing called ACC, the Accident Compensation Corporation. And here's the kicker. If you get injured in New Zealand, you're covered. Completely. Broken bone from skiing? Free. Car accident? Free. Shark bite? Free. And yes, that's happened. But if you get sick, if you have an allergic reaction, a heart condition, an asthma attack, appendicitis, you pay. Every single cent. Let me paint you the picture Margaret saw in that hospital waiting room. On one side, a German backpacker named Lars, 26, broke his arm mountain biking the Queenstown Trail. He's sitting there, arm in a cast, paperwork in hand, walking out without paying $1. ACC covered it. He didn't even have travel insurance. On the other side, Margaret, anaphylactic shock, a medical emergency, $3,000 in debt. Same hospital, same day. Two completely different realities. So New Zealand will fix your broken bones, but not your broken health. That's exactly right. And according to 2024 data from New Zealand's Ministry of Health, over 40% of American medical tourists had no idea this distinction existed until they were handed a bill. Now, if you're thinking, okay, fine, I'll just get travel insurance, hold that thought. Because that's where this story gets even messy, eh? Meet James Kowalski, 52, Chicago, type 2 diabetic, controlled, managed, lived with it for a decade. He bought travel insurance before his New Zealand trip. The good kind, or so he thought. Premium plan, $150,000 coverage. Medical evacuation included. 2 weeks into his Auckland stay, James had a diabetic complication, blood sugar crash, dizziness, confusion. His partner called an ambulance. Emergency room, for fluids, monitoring, glucose stabilization. Out the next day. Bill, $8,700. He filed the insurance claim, confident. Denied. Pre-existing condition. James was stunned. But I disclosed it. I wrote on the form. They knew. Doesn't matter. The fine print said complications from pre-existing conditions weren't covered. Only new medical emergencies. And since James already had diabetes, this was classified as a complication, not a new event. He fought for 2 months. Got nowhere. Paid out of pocket. How was I supposed to know? He told me over email. I did everything right. I thought I was protected. But here's the twist that makes this even more bizarre. While Americans are getting slammed with surprise bills in New Zealand, Kiwis are facing the exact opposite nightmare in the United States. A New Zealand woman, tourist in Los Angeles, appendicitis, emergency surgery, bill, $47,000. Same condition, different country, 10 times the cost. So what's really going on here? This is where you have to zoom out. Because what we're really watching is two completely opposite healthcare philosophies smashing into each other. and tourists are caught in the crossfire. New Zealand's philosophy. Healthcare is a right for citizens and residents. We'll also cover you if you get injured here, because accidents happen, and we believe in basic human decency. But if you get sick, that's a you problem. Bring insurance or bring cash. America's philosophy. Everything costs money. Everything. You want an ambulance? Pay. You want stitches? Pay. You exist in a hospital? Pay. But at least we're consistent. Tourist or citizen, you're paying either way. And here's the stat that'll blow your mind. According to a 2025 study, U.S. tourists in New Zealand spend an average of $4,200 on unexpected medical costs. In Australia, where the U.S. has a limited reciprocal Medicare agreement, that number drops to $850. 4 times cheaper. Same region. The only difference? Policy. So which system is actually protecting travelers? The answer isn't what you think, because there's one group quietly making a fortune off this confusion. Travel insurance companies. They know most people don't read the fine print. They bank on it. They sell you peace of mind, then bury exclusions 47 pages deep in the policy document. Pre-existing conditions. Adventure sports. High-risk activities that include riding a bike. And when you need them most. Sorry, not covered. Okay, deep breath. Let's talk about what you can actually do. Because I'm not here just to scare you. I'm here to prepare you. Number 1, never skip comprehensive travel insurance. But, and this is critical, read the fine print. Specifically look for illness versus injury distinction, pre-existing condition clauses, sublimits. Some policies cap illness coverage at $10,000 but injury at $100,000. Number 2, check if your policy includes medical evacuation. If you need to be flown back to the U.S. for treatment, that can cost $50,000 to $150,000. Most standard policies don't cover it. Number 3, declare all pre-existing conditions, even if they're controlled, even if you haven't had symptoms in years. Disclose everything. It's the only way to avoid a denial later. Number 4, use credit cards with built-in travel medical insurance. Cards like Chase Sapphire Reserve or Amex Platinum offer secondary coverage, meaning if your primary insurance denies you, the credit card kicks in. Number 5, download New Zealand's Healthline app before you go. It's free. 24/7 medical advice. Phone number 0800 611 116. They can tell you whether you need an ER or just a pharmacy, and that distinction can save you thousands. Margaret? She's okay now. Paid her bill in installments. Bought a $250,000 medical coverage plan for her next trip. She still calls New Zealand the best trip of her life, but now she goes prepared. I learned the hard way, she told me, but I don't want anyone else to. But here's the thing that keeps me up at night. This isn't really about healthcare. It's about how we view responsibility. New Zealand's position is essentially, we'll save your life if you're in an accident, but your personal health? That's your responsibility. You're a guest here. Act like it. America's position is, everything's expensive. For everyone. All the time. At least we don't discriminate. And on a global scale, 73 countries have reciprocal healthcare agreements. Meaning if you're from country A visiting country B, you get the same care as locals. The US and New Zealand? Not on that list. So here's the question that'll spark a war in the comments. Are Americans entitled for expecting coverage abroad? Or is New Zealand's system quietly discriminatory? I'll let you decide, but first, you need to hear this final story. Michael Rogers, 67, retired teacher from Florida. Bucket list trip to New Zealand with his wife. Day 12, Auckland. Heart attack. Rushed to the hospital. Stabilized. Survived. ACC initially covered it. They thought it might have been triggered by physical exertion, which would classify as accident-related. But 3 weeks later, the hospital reclassified it. Cardiac event. Medical condition. Not accident. Bill, $34,000. Michael fought for 8 months. His insurance eventually paid 60%. He was still out $13,600, plus legal fees. And you know what he told me? I still recommend New Zealand. It's one of the most beautiful places on earth. But I warn everyone now, go with your eyes open. Know what you're walking into. That's the truth. And here's the final gut punch. According to an internal 2025 report from Tourism New Zealand, 18% of potential American visitors are now skipping New Zealand entirely due to healthcare concerns. That's nearly 1 in 5. The paradise is still there, but the fear, it's real. So here's my question for you. Would you still visit New Zealand knowing this? Or does the healthcare gamble make you think twice? Drop your answer below and tell me, should New Zealand extend their universal healthcare to all tourists? Or should Americans just accept that free healthcare abroad isn't a given? I'm reading every comment, and I'll feature the most controversial takes in my next video about why New Zealand is quietly becoming the most expensive, cheap destination in the world. And if you want the truth about global travel that no one else will tell you, hit that subscribe button, because next week, I'm exposing why Americans are getting banned from certain European hostels. So, what would you do if you were in their shoes?